When we look at the bulletproof code, you'll notice that if I open the hints and then I dismiss them, if I haven't played any rounds, the stats button is still disabled. If I play a round, the stats button becomes enabled, but then when I click on hints, it's disabled. And when I dismiss, we can see it again. And getting that functionality did take a little bit of trialing. The other thing that we should be aware of is when we hit the cross, everything closes and we finish with exit code 0. If you're bulletproofing your code, you want to go into the play class, and in our initial function, you'll want to program it so that if users push the cross, we run root destroy, which is going to close everything. The next thing we need to do is set it up so that our buttons are disabled and enabled correctly. In your toHints function, we need to get the number of rounds played, and then when we display our hints, we're going to take the number of rounds played along with us. When I go into display hints, I'm going to retrieve the number of rounds played, and then I'm going to disable all of my buttons. In our close hint function, we want to make our hints button and endgame button normal, but we only want to enable the stats button if we've played at least one round. That's the tough part. We do something similar with our stats class, where at the start we disable the hints, the endgame, and the stats button, and then when we close the stats, we re-enable those buttons. So hopefully, if you follow along and you systematically disable and enable the buttons, your code should be bulletproof. After my bulletproofing slides, I have my final game test plan, followed by testing evidence. This is followed by the complex discussion, and you're welcome to read it, knowing that in your assessment, your discussion is going to be completely different because you're going to be telling me about how you planned, tested, and trialed. And every time I write a discussion, it turns out different from previous projects. So I'll scroll through what I've got, and you can pause and read the slides. I talked a lot about how I used my planning, and the focus should be on how you used your planning to make a successful outcome, not the fact that you used planning. I also briefly talked about how my testing helped me to make a high quality outcome. And then I talked a little bit about how trialing helped me make a high quality outcome. Hopefully this has given you an insight into what your documentation should look like. And at this point, you are ready to attempt the assessment.